Hello, I'm Carol,
And I'm John.
and today we are going to speak about a wonderful stone to open a new windows on the mineral universe.
So today we're going to speak to you about one of our friends from the mineral kingdom. It's a stone that is very special because it's been modified by man. It's also a stone that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about or know about or even have already, knowing who you are and what's going on in your life these days. And it's this stone. This is a small crystal of Aqua. You can notice a bluish electric blue color. We've chosen this stone, Aqua, for this month because for us it's one of the major stones that help us to reconnect to our higher self, to our spiritual and higher capacities, to our gifts, and I would say even it helps us to get aligned with our soul.
Aqua is a human-made crystal. Why do I say that? Because at the beginning it's like a quartz crystal, and on this quartz they put a layer of gold. How do they that? They put the stone in a pressure very high, it's 2 atmosphere, and they heat it at 880 degrees Celsius. And then they put the gold to infuse on the crystal. And the result is that a very blue electric crystal. And something is very surprising because how they do the industrial things, we can have some results very different. And for example, we can have indigo color. Some crystal could be pink or orange. So there is a lot of magical inside. For the people who have done the light language, you know that the gold is a very useful color to connect the higher self, to connect the divinity. And the crystal is a very good stone to amplify, to increase the energy. So when you mix both of them, the crystal is a very good amplificator to help and support people to go to the higher self with ease and with pleasure. John, can you speak more about the Aqua Aura, please? How we can use it for myself, for example?
So we're going to talk about some of the basic usages of Aqua Aura as a healing stone. We might say it's connected to the fifth chakra, as it does have that blue color, even if the blue color is coming from gold, so it gives it a little different nuance. The throat chakra is the chakra of our self-expression. It's the chakra of our communication. It's a chakra that's also connected to everything that happens around the nose, the ears, the throat, etc. And as a blue color stone, it's very calming. It can help to work on anxiety. It can help to work with depression. It's also a stone that is used to work on the immune system, which is interesting for the theme we're talking about today and in general this month. The immune system, and this is kind of a hypothesis I'm throwing out there, gets derailed and sometimes even turns against ourselves. We call that autoimmune issues, etc. It's actually kind of like a form of self-sabotage. And if this is going on in our physical body, it's also something that's going on deeper levels, on the emotional level, on the mental level. And a lot of you out there are like a lot of people today in general. We tend to get more connected to our weaknesses, more connected to our problems, more connected to our illness, more connected to our weaknesses, and more attached to them than we're actually getting attached to our force, to our potential, and to our higher gifts. So this Aqua aura is kind of working on a physical level to get to things that are happening on a more, on a deeper and more spiritual level. In that process, it's a very easy stone. It's a powerful stone, but a very easy stone in general to work with. It usually doesn't create things that are uncomfortable. It finds a very soft way to deal with things very powerful in our system, like shame, guilt, a negative vision of ourselves or low self-esteem, frustration. Where are all these coming in? These things come in because, for some people, because as a child, they knew they were kind of more, they suddenly realized at one point that they're empathic, or that they're psychic, or that they have certain ways of feeling what's going on around them that suddenly they realize that other people don't have. And so a lot of people progressively try to hide those things. And with education at home, with schooling, with professional goals, etc., somehow these things get put away and forgotten. And when they come back up to our consciousness, when we are 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years old, they're usually accompanied by those kind of negative, poisonous emotions like shame and guilt. And so this stone helps us go through that process of reconnecting who we really are and reconnecting those gifts and that potential that we kind of put aside. Another thing that comes up in those situations is sometimes a lot of anger. And this anger might be on the surface turned to other people or directed toward other people, but actually, fundamentally, it's an anger against ourselves. Because we created this situation where suddenly we realize we're not doing what we're here to do, we're not doing things that are fulfilling and using our gifts, etc. And we just get mad at ourselves. The anger is actually often turned towards other people, or we think it is. And somehow, sometimes it's just this huge anger that we have against ourselves. It's an anger that keeps us from connecting completely to ourselves, to our higher self. And Aqua aura, again, is that stone that helps us to bring us back to that connection. It's also a great stress reliever. Of course, everything I've said up to now is the reason that it's a stress reliever, because it helps us to deal with all those negative emotions or negative emotional expressions. And so it helps to bring us to a state of calm. It helps to bring us to a state of inner knowledge, or you might say it's a very good stone for meditation. Of course, it's fine to have an aqua aura as jewelry or in your pocket, but the most interesting thing to do with this type of strong stone is to actually sit down with it and connect to it and meditate with it. And it's also an interesting stone to use at night when you're sleeping, to guide you in night school, shamanic school, and everything you would like to discover during this wonderful time at night. As you can notice, we're talking about things that are much more connected to the sixth and perhaps even the seventh chakra. and it's also a stone that's very connected to the chakras of the head. We actually notice sometimes that children 6, 7, 8 years old will be about like 5, 10 feet from our booth, and they would just come in a straight line like a bee and go to Aqua. And when we talk about them a little bit, we realize that they really have an energy, what we sometimes call indigo children or crystal children, etc. And they have that empathy, they have that capacity to feel what's going on with the stone. Even if they've never touched stones much before, they often touch a stone and they'll say, well, that's connecting me to, that's working here, or that's I feel it here, etc. So Carol, can you give us a resume of Aqua?
This is a wonderful flower about the different qualification of the Aqua. So, this is a very strong stone with a lot of energy, full of love and protection. It permits to grow and to evolve as a spiritual being. Because we connect the higher self with the gold on the crystal, and she helps us to heal the emotional and physical and intellectual and spiritual bodies. So very complete stone, removing the negative energy. So when she does that, after that with gold, she can support us to develop the optimism of myself. And as she connects me to my inner space, I am in connection with my higher self and I am in peace. I can align my throat with my heart and I'm aligned in my body. In the same time, the Aqua attract wealth and success. It can open the different psychic abilities and to help me to canalize and to channeling the different energy. It stimulates the astral travel, and as it is a stone about the 5th chakra, it's very good to communicate without fear and to speak truthfully and honestly who I am. By the same time, it cleans and heals the auric field. So as you can see, it's a very complete stone and very supporting to be empowered of myself and to embrace my different potentials and forces for shining my light. And remember, this stone is very helpful to meditate and to sleep with. Moreover, we can do some healing, we can do some mineral grids. With here an example of a grid with Aqua to connect the higher self and help the manifestation in our body. And we can do some mineral crypt